What is going on, guys? It's Justin from Push and Profit. Hope everyone's having a beautiful day today. Now, unfortunately, I'm gonna be honest. Today is not the greatest day, because a few stocks or a few let me not say stocks, a few ETFs and ETNs are getting delisted, and these are actually the ETNs and ETFs that I trade on a daily basis. These are pretty much my bread and butter, and I am referring to DGAZ and UGAZ, right? These are trade off the natural gas futures, and unfortunately, they're getting delisted. I have the news right here. I'm also gonna share the link for this, so you guys can read it yourself in the description of this video. But I kind of wanted to not only talk a little bit about this being delisted, but also alternatives that you could trade. Now that this is gonna be delisted soon, right? By the way, I'm not gonna touch these anymore ever again. They have like a week and a half before they're officially delisted, but I'm just never gonna touch it again, and I'm gonna explain why in this video. Also, I do want to say when I do mention the alternatives to trade, just because it's going to be something that I'm trading, I always encourage you guys not to trade based on what I'm trading. I know a lot of people, they kind of see what I'm trading and they kind of want to copy me. And, obviously, I get it to a certain degree. You see someone kind of doing something and it's working well for them. So you say, okay, well, if it's working well for them, then it must work well for me. But at the end of the day, there's so many different styles, so many different niches in the stock market, and what works for me might not work for you, right? So, but anyways, I just want to provide these alternatives that I will personally be using. So let's kind of break down the news. So the tickers that are going to be delisted, they're all right here, right? They're all right here. Now, the ones that I'm most heartbroken about is UGAZ and DGAZ, right? I honestly don't know how, like, this, it's gonna be weird not being able to trade this tickers that I trade every single day. Like, it's honestly gonna be weird. Then of course you got VIIX and TVIX, which they kind of in a way go linked with the S&P 500 on the short term. I'm not gonna kind of go into that, but these are tickers that I've traded in the past as well. They've made me decent money. They've also lost me some money too, because these are really volatile, right? But so let's kind of read into it real quick. The part that I want to talk about is this part right here, and I'm going to try to highlight it because this is really important, right? The delisting of the ETNs will become effective on July 12th, 2020. So basically what's going to happen is if you have any position holding long term or just holding, which I never recommend when you trade three times ETFs or leverage ETFs. I never recommend to hold them unless it's like for a day or maybe 2 days maximum. I have a whole video talking about why, and really it's just because of the decay. But yeah, so whoever is holding them, unfortunately, they will be liquidated. Meaning, it's not like you're gonna lose all your money. Like, let's say you have I don't know, like 10,000 in DGAS, and that day comes. It's not like your 10,000 is gonna like disappear. That's not gonna be the case. What they're gonna do is they're gonna liquidate it, and they're just gonna credit your account, with whatever the stock was worth at that last time that it was, trading at before it was delisted. So, huge, reminder: if you're in a position, try to get out soon. The sooner the better. I think if you're up, definitely take your profits. There's no shame in taking your profits. I've learned the hard way. Always take your profits. And if you're down, unfortunately, you might just have to cut your losses, because there's a chance that you might end up just losing more by just holding these, right? Because another thing is that and this goes particularly to you guys and D guys, right? And this is the second important part. In addition, credit Susie. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce it right, but Credit Suite, I think people pronounce it, will suspend further insurances of the NYSE ETNs effective June 2020. Sorry, 2020. I can't read. I'm sorry, guys. But now, what does that mean? Now, today is obviously June 22nd, 2020. I think that's just a tongue twister, by the way. But what does that mean? That means that these ETFs, they're not issuing any more shares of them or anything like that. They're honestly not even trading in correspondence with the natural gas futures that they typically trade so well with. And that was one of the reasons I was so drawn and attracted to you guys and DGAZ. And it was really because of the fact that they traded so well following the natural gas futures. There's other ETNs and ETFs out there that they trade off of futures, but they don't really correspond well. That as well as UGAZ and DGAZ. So this is like, again, something that's gonna be heartbroken. But I am gonna talk about alternatives. So hopefully you guys are still paying attention. Actually, you know what? I think that's really all I had to say. I mean, you could further do your research and due diligence about, like, this whole page I'm going to link in the description. But let's go ahead and hop into TD Ameritrade. So if you guys are still interested in trading off the natural gas futures, there's going to be some alternatives. They might not be as great as UGAZ and DGAZ. Now, UGAZ and DGAZ, not only did they trade well off the natural gas futures, but they were very volatile and very liquid, in the sense that you could get in and out with a large amount of money. You could have 100,000 and still kind of get in and out easily. And they were just so volatile. They moved really well. And I became really well trading them, right? But you could still trade UNG, right, which is a ETF that trades off based off the natural gas, right? But it's not 3 times leverage, right? So basically, it still follows the natural gas futures. However, it's not 3 times leverage. Also, they don't have a bear ETF of it. So if you want to make money when natural gas is shorting it, or when natural gas is going down, unfortunately, there isn't like an inverse alternative to trade. You would simply just have to short this stock. Versus with UGAZ and DGAZ, when natural gas was up, UGAZ was up. When natural gas was down, DGAZ was down, right? You could just have 2 different things that go in and out. Here, you just have one option. So if it's going down, you just have to short it. And if it's going up, you just have to buy low and sell high, right? Now, there are another alternatives for natural gas, right? And they're really unpopular, but you have KOLD, code, which is a 2 times, I believe, 2 times leverage ETF that trades off natural gas, along with the inverse of it, which is BOIL, right? BOIL. So in reality, they kind of very well match, or they're almost identical to UGAZ and DGAZ. However, in the sense that they are not as volatile, right? They're not 3 times the ETFs, and they just don't have a lot of volume as well. But for example, KOLD is, if you take a look at it, it moves exactly how DGAZ moves. Like, we'll take a look at DGAZ, right? This is DGAZ for today, and this is KOLD, right? Now, it's kind of hard to see because, like I said, there's not a lot of volume, so the pattern, there's not a lot of candlesticks. It just kind of, moves around. But if you're trading based off the natural gas futures, you could still trade this. And then you got BOIL, BOIL, which, it follows very closely, or, to UGAZ. So let's take a look at UGAZ. This is how UGAZ looked for the day. And then this is how BOIL looked for the day. Very similar. I would say they're almost completely identical. However, you guys are triple leverage. These are just 2 times leverage. And they don't have a lot of volume. So for anyone that's, still wants to trade based off natural gas, these are the alternatives. You could try trading the 2 times leverage. It doesn't have a lot of volume. Or you could just trade the regular ETF of UNG, which, is based off the natural gas futures, right? So that's all I had to say about that. Now, of course, there's other options. Like I said, you guys don't have to trade these just because I'm going to be trading these. But then you have, this ETF, which is FAZ. And then you have FAS. Now, FAS and FAZ, they're inverse ETFs that trade based off the Russell 1000. So this is the futures that they trade based off of. So if this goes up, then one of these, which is the bull ETF, which is FAS, is going to go up. You see how it kind of matches almost identical to whatever the futures are doing, right? Matches it pretty well, right? Then you also have the inverse of it, which does the opposite, So if this goes up, guess what? This is gonna go down. So, and they are 3 times leverage, and they are pretty volatile. I would say they're not as volatile as UGAZ and DGAZ, but they are pretty volatile. I mean, for example, let's just kind of zoom in to this area right here. This drop right here was 4%. So I mean, it is pretty volatile. So obviously the inverse of it, if you bought here, you would make a profit of 4%. So that is another alternative. And by the way, these are based off the financials, right? Of like, so UGAZ and DGAZ traded off like natural gas. These really just trade off of like the financial services or the financial industry. Then of course you got the semiconductor ETFs, right? So you got the future index, which is SOX, and then you could trade XOXL, which is a 3 times leverage ETF that trades based off of XOX. And by the way, these are tongue twisters. Then you have SOXS, which is the bear ETF, which does the opposite. So again, there are other options out there. There are other volatile ETFs and ETNs out there that you could trade. However, I just wanted to provide that option that, hey, UGAZ, DGAZ, TVIX, they're going away forever. They're gone. But there's other things that you could trade that kind of resemble the same style, same technique, which is something that I'm gonna do. And then of course you have your traditional QQQ, SQQQ, and TQQQ, right? So for example, these are ETFs that trade based off the Nasdaq. So you would kind of look at /NQ, and that's the E-mini Nasdaq. Those are the futures, and basically TQQQ is the bull ETF. So if the Nasdaq is going up, then this is gonna go up 3 times whatever the Nasdaq is going up. And then of course you have SQQQ, which is the inverse, where if the Nasdaq is going down, this is gonna go up 3 times. So again, there are alternatives. These are what I'm really gonna shift my focus to now that my bread and butter and babies, UGAZ and DGAZ, are gone. Again, you guys don't need to copy me. If anything, find the style that works for you guys. And of course, there's regular, there's so many tickers and stocks. There's opportunity every day. What your job is to do is to be able to identify those opportunities and seize those opportunities. Lock in your profits when you're up and cut your losses quickly when you're down. And that's really all I had to say about this video. Again, I'm gonna link that page in the description below. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them in the comment section below, or also go into our free Facebook group called Push and Profit. It's really just a community of individuals who are interested in trading in the stock market. So you could always ask questions there. I will either try to reply to you, or we have other members in the community who will try to reply to you as well. Again, it's free to join. And with that being said, guys, I really don't have anything else to say. It's a really, unfortunately, sad day. My heart, is hurting. But yeah, guys, again, my name is Justin, and I'm out. Peace.